We should get a camera that faces over here and points on Tyler so he can be like Jamie and Joe Rogan. Look it up, Jamie.
Corpus callosum. We were kind of chatting about like topics we could touch on during the podcast. You know, a few months ago when we were sort of brainstorming, you kind of brought up, you know, some CIA declassified information, which we kind of delved into a little bit.
Yep. So
you know,
I looked up on the CIA website the Hemi-Sync documents, and I printed out all of it. And I kind of just glanced over all of it. I didn't read into it much. I read here and there. And then I was like, this is kind of interesting. So I went on YouTube and found the first, I don't know what they were called, the phases or what, the waves.
Yeah, waves,
whatever.
Yeah.
However they say it on YouTube. And it was one day I was just sitting there and I was like, I want to do it. But, yeah.
Yeah.
So you ended up doing it also.
Yeah, I did it kind of recently. I remember we were having a chat about it, and Tyler and I were talking about doing it. And it was quite an experience. I know you kind of talked about how you felt different afterwards. But why don't we let's chat about first, like, what it supposedly does. Like, what is the point of it? Is it like, supposedly it's a way to gain, like, a synchronization between your two, hemispheres, right?
Yep, it's pretty much to line up, like, it's a sound wave that plays that lines up the hemispheres in your brain. And when I did it, it made me feel like my mind and body was connected. Like I was it was a very weird sensation.
Right, it's like a little uncomfortable, right? But like also like empowering in a weird way, right?
Yep, and the CIA used it. So they were trying to figure out mind control and stuff, I believe, is what they were trying to use it for. Putting people in hypnotic states to kind of like lucid dream, I guess.
Okay.
Is what it was intended for.
To almost like program agents to do things like while in this state or like, because when I did it, I had like a strange episode, which, you know, we'll talk about in a couple minutes kind of, but I can maybe see how they would think that it could have those properties. I don't know if, you know, it ever got to that point where they felt like it was a success or not in that regard. I know it's kind of, Oh, is that they didn't really get to that point?
I don't think so. I think people advanced it further and used it in other ways for meditation and stuff rather than to achieve mind control and stuff through it.
Right. Because I feel like it's empowering. It makes like your body feel good. Like it almost like when I did it like I felt like my breathing was like very clear because, you know, there's like some breathing kind of
the breathing techniques. So
like kind of talk about your first kind of experience. Like what did it feel like the first time you tried the first wave? Was that what you kind of did?
Yep. So I did it. I think I did it all in one day. I've only done it one time. Well, a few separate times, but in the same day.
Okay.
What I remember from the first wave, I think I made it through the first couple I went listened through it. It starts out like a guided breathing meditation, and then it has these waves that like hit your ears, and it's like it's a hertz. It's a sound wave that they play, and it's two different ones in both of your ears, but when they meet in your brain, it sounds like one solid.
It sounds like a reverberating kind of.
Yeah, it's like two different sound waves coming in both of your ears, but then when you hear them, it kind of like makes a wave effect. And it starts out like that, and then it has you it guides you through a meditation is the best way to explain that. You'd have to listen to the video and go through the steps to understand it, but
totally. The part that really kind of like affected me or made me feel, a little odd was like the part where it kind of has you like breathe in and then like hum as you exhale. Oh man, yeah. Yep.
So really, like I know that is a form of relaxation. It's very uncomfortable, and like when you're doing it, it makes you uncomfortable while you're doing it.
Doesn't it, right?
Yeah.
I started like questioning, like, am I even making a noise? I don't know. Yep. It's like weird when you're doing it. You're wearing some stereo headphones, and in your ears is also like it's almost like a voice, but it's almost like a noise. Like you kind of can't really distinguish. Kind of making like a weird. Almost like a choral, like a song or something, or like a weird.
It's yep. I know.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. The noise going in your ear, you're hearing that in your brain, and then you're trying, like in the guided meditation, they want you to produce that same sound that you're hearing through your ears. So when you're producing that same sound, like the same vibrations, it's supposed to help connect those thoughts and your body together.
Ooh.
If that makes sense.
That's really cool. I feel like that really wraps it up because I was, I feel like that's maybe even how my brain felt or how I felt, but it didn't register in that manner for me, kind of as I was doing it.
Yeah, when you're doing it, it's like you want to get like the same. I don't even know the word to use. You want to get the same tone and like the same vibration as you're hearing, and that'll help align your mind and your body.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I feel like it might be kind of beneficial to chat even about like the hemispheres of your brain too, like because they, since this kind of plays on that, like in kind of talking about how they're separate but work together. So like there, there's the two hemispheres, and then there's the corpus callosum.
Oh yeah, I'm not educated on
corpus. I think that sounds right. We'll check that.
Yep, Tyler.
If not, we'll edit that out.
Tyler, what is it? We should get a camera that faces over here and points on Tyler, so he can be like Jamie and Joe Rogan. Look it up, Jamie.
Corpus callosum, which holds the first two ventricles of your brain, and your cerebrospinal fluid kind of rests in there.
There's definitely a lot more going on the psychological level that you do not understand while you're doing it.
Right. Like it kind of plays on all the senses, so like the neurological aspect, but it also has a psychological aspect to it too. The hemispheres of the brain process information differently, but at the same time, they could be independent of each other. You could live missing one hemisphere of your brain, and like crazy stuff like that. Right. Yeah, it's so crazy to think like I think there's cases of somebody like there's just, fluid in the other side of their brain, but it almost like fills in on that missing aspect. But your brain, I think, is really, of course, at its best when, both are kind of working in tandem, like, which this kind of proves, Hemi-Sync. And when I did it, So I did the first wave.
Yep.
And I kind of experienced what you did. You kind of afterwards, I'm like, oh, it's kind of like, like an exhilaration. It was kind of temporary.
You felt something. It's kind of hard to describe, but yeah.
Something was just like a little bit different about you, right? But, I was like, I kind of got a little greedy, so to speak, and I was like, oh, I'm going to try the second wave. Let's just do it, So the second wave, it kind of takes for granted that you already have done the first wave, obviously. And then, so it walks you through, it expects you to know those breathing exercises.
Yep.
Know the phases. And you get to the next part, it kind of walks you through like a total body relaxation. Like it talks you into relaxing from your scalp and like your eyelids, really like random kind of stuff that you wouldn't think about relaxing on a daily basis. Yep. And then like your cheeks, your jaw, and so forth. And I remember the last thing I remember, it was the weirdest thing. So I got to my neck, and then like I don't remember anything. Yep. And then all of a sudden the video ended and an ad started for like the next video. So I was like, was I in a trance? Was I asleep? Was I
you were
like
sleeping?
Was I? It was it was the weirdest thing. But I could have sworn like I remember hearing like the video, but not.
Did you didn't feel your body at all?
No, that's yeah.
So when I was doing it, I did the same thing you did. I did the first video, and then I jumped straight to the second video.
Oh, did you?
And then I think I went to the third and fourth video after that. But I listened to the first one. It got me really relaxed, feeling good. The second video, I did pass out like you did. I was asleep for a good 15 or 20 minutes, and then I got woken up because it was not the video playing. I don't think it was an ad, but it wasn't the Hemi-Sync video that I was watching or listening to. But yeah, I got really relaxed. I did not feel my body. I heard everything in my ears, but my whole body was off. It was like I did not feel anything. Yeah, and it was a very good feeling. But then, like, you just pass out. Everything like aligns and you fall asleep, and it's
right.
Yeah.
Is it like a sleep, or is it like another form of like your subconscious or like an unconscious type? You think it probably was sleep?
No, I don't think you're asleep. I believe there's different dimensions. There's definitely a lot of other dimensions in this life, like flies, for example. Little flies that fly around, they see things faster than us. Like if we were to go swat it, they move around so quickly because they're so small. Their metabolization, whatever they eat, it goes so fast that whatever they see is in slow motion. So that right there is a different.
Like a weird, like a perception of.
It's a different perception, but you could look at it as a different dimension. They're running on a different level than we are. So like, I think that our bodies take us to a different dimension or to something else in our subconscious.
Right, like a different state or something, right? Like.
And if you continue to do the videos, there are people, I looked it up on Reddit and before I did it and everything, and not very many people reach the state, but there's a state where it's like lucid dreaming. You can pass out and remember everything and know what's going on. So I think it takes you definitely to a different place, maybe not asleep, but I think you're somewhere else.
It's a way, it was like a way different level of consciousness than I've ever been. Like, I've never meditated before. I've always read about it, and that's how I felt. Like, I feel like I was still, like, present, but
you weren't.
Nah, right. Like, that ad just, like, scared the shit out of me. Yep. I was like, it was like a Chipotle ad or something. I don't know. And I was like, whoa, like, what's happening? The last thing I knew, I was relaxing my neck, and now it's like 25 minutes later, and I have no idea what's up.
So I did that, and I woke up from the second video, and I was feeling amazing. Like, I was feeling like I did some drugs or something. I woke up feeling amazing. And then about, I'd say maybe an hour or two later, I watched the third and fourth video, and the same thing happened again. I passed out, and I felt total relaxed. I couldn't feel my body. I was just in my head. It was just my head. There was no body at all. And then I passed out again. But then when I woke up after that, for about a week, maybe a week and a half, I was struggling mentally, wondering I was struggling with reality, I guess, for about a week and a half after that.
You think you did like too many in one day?
Too much in one day.
I was gonna say, like, when they originally designed this, did you do any reading about like how often like agents were supposed to?
Yeah, no, I didn't read it on the CIA documents that I read, but I read it on Reddit that it's not a good idea to do a bunch in one day. I didn't really listen because I don't like listening to stuff like that.
Right.
So
who sets the rules?
Yeah, fuck that. But yeah, I did have one or two vivid memories from when I was asleep or wherever I was at. It's not really a memory. It's like a feeling. It's I don't remember anything visually, but I still remember the feeling inside that what I woke up with, I guess. But don't not really want to explain that on the podcast.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I struggled with reality for a minute, but I did after the third and fourth wave or whatever I got to. I don't know if it was the third and fourth one. I definitely did reach another state from the first time that I passed out.
Oh, like a different one from that time even too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I gotta try the third and the fourth one then.
Yeah, definitely don't do a lot in one day though, because it'll, yeah.
It kind of jacks you up. After that second one, I felt weird.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then like, while we're talking about like states of consciousness and stuff, what about, how do you feel about like sleepwalking and stuff like that? Do you think like people like that are like in like a state kind of like
I've struggled with sleepwalking. I struggled with sleepwalking for I don't know how long.
Do you still do it?
I'm asleep. I don't know. I don't even remember when I did it. I remember my mom telling me we used to live in this house, and one night she was very freaked out, and I understand why, but I guess I woke up in the middle of the night and I was at the door screaming and crying saying, "Let me in." And my mom was right there and saying, "You're inside," but I was in a dream. So or I was sleepwalking or whatever. So that's,
you were like inside the door of the house?
I was inside the house and I was banging on the windows or whatever saying, "Let me in." But I was sleepwalking. I was inside thinking I was outside. Yeah.
That's pretty freaky, man.
Yeah, sleepwalking is, I don't know, you see it a lot of stuff on TikTok nowadays of people sleepwalking.
You feel like like that might not really be legit, right? It might be kind of
sleepwalking is for real. It's a real thing.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I've never really thought about that before, to be honest.
Right, because like I've only had one incidence of sleepwalking in my life, and it was within the last, how long have I been here? About going on 7 years, so it must have been like 8 or 9 years ago. I remember just being in my room, and this is like how I know it was sleepwalking, because I kind of have a memory of it. Mm-hmm. I woke up and I stood at my door, like staring at my door for a long time, and like I think like my mind was like couldn't determine whether I was asleep or awake, so I don't know how long I was staring at the door. It could have been like 20 minutes, could have been like an hour, but I have like this distinct, and then I remember just going back to bed after however long it was, but I was asleep.
Oh yeah.
It was so weird. I don't even know how to describe it, and it just sounds awkward to describe, but it
is a very weird thing when your mind and body are both interacting with each other while you're not necessarily conscious. You're in a dream.
Right, you're not like conscious of your movements or your actions, but like you sort of are. It's like you're not in control, maybe is a better way to put it.
You're not.
But
it makes you wonder, like, so sleepwalking, are you doing everything that you're doing in your dream, or are you just up walking around and your mind's off going wherever while your body's on a different path?
Right.
Like you're sitting there
weird.
dreaming of you're jumping on a trampoline, but you're sitting there walking laps around your house. Like, does that make sense?
Right,
Are they connected? Like, is your body in sync with your mind while you're sleepwalking, or is it totally separate?
Right. Well, I should remember this, but I'm trying to remember what phase of sleep you sleepwalk in.
Sleepwalking occurs during N3 sleep, the deepest stage of non-rapid eye movement.
Oh, so not when you dream.
So it's when you're in your deepest REM sleep. But I remember maybe 9 or 10, our dad has sleep apnea, and I've had night terrors, and I've never slept good. So I don't remember when it was, but we went to the Children's Hospital or somewhere, and we got sleep tests done on me to see if I have sleep apnea, and I have some form of sleep apnea, I believe. But it's not as, I don't think I do not stop breathing in my sleep like my dad does. I believe what they explained, if I remember right, at the end of my REM cycle, I wake up at the end of it.
Okay.
So I believe it's a 90-minute cycle, and I go through the whole cycle, and at the end of it, I wake up instead of staying in it. In the past, I used to write down my dreams because I used to have some very realistic, very freaky dreams. Like,
yeah, you want to share some? I'll share a couple of my freako dreams too.
Yeah. So when I was little, I used to drink a lot of stuff with red dye in it. Like, what were those called? Mondos. It was red dye 90 or whatever.
Mondos. Yeah, those were where it's at.
Yeah. So there's this red dye that gives people nightmares, and every time I would drink it, I would have nightmares at night. And me and my brother went to go stay at my uncle's house one night, and I don't even think he was there. We stayed the night there, and we were making some cookies, and we watched, maybe this was a different time. It might have just been me staying there, but I watched, what's that movie called? Fuck.
Is it like a horror movie, or?
Not really. It's, these kids, what is that movie called? They like run away, and they go on train tracks, and they're, fuck.
Stand By Me?
Is it Stand By Me?
Do they find the dead body?
Yes, and they find the dead body by the train tracks?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So my worst nightmare that I've ever had that I remember is related to that movie, because I watched that one night at my uncle's house. I'm not sure if my brother was staying with me or not, but I watched that movie, and then it was, I'd say, it was after that, a period of time after that, I was asleep, and in my dream, I heard my washer and dryer shaking. Like, I was, in reality, I heard my washer and dryer shaking, but I was asleep. And in my dream, it was a train. Like, the sound of my washer and dryer shaking was a train. And I was tied to the train tracks. And a train ran over my legs, and I was sitting there screaming. And at the time, I used to have growing pains. So my legs were numb. Like, they were... I can't describe growing pains to you, but I was having growing pains and a nightmare at the same time.
Oh.
So I woke up hearing the washer and dryer going.
Yep.
Hearing it, like thinking it was a train, and then my legs were numb, and I woke up and I couldn't feel my legs, and I heard the washer and dryer, and I'm probably still traumatized from that. That was, yeah.
How old were you when that happened?
I don't know, probably 8 or 9.
Oh, you were like 8 or 9 years old when that happened to you?
But I still remember that super vividly. Tyler remembers me screaming at night in pain from growing pains. But yeah, I was having.
Oh man.
It was like a double whammy. It was a nightmare and growing pains at the same time, and it was, yeah.
That's wild, man.
And I have one more to share real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had this nightmare. So I used to go to the school, and we had a retreat there every year where we would go somewhere and do stuff. And so we had a retreat when I was there in 3rd grade. And me and my friends found, we went to some camp. Me and my friends found this wasp nest that was in the ground. And we sat there and stomped on it. And actually, like 5 or 6 of us got stung like 12 times because of it.
Oh, man.
And then like a week or 2 later after that, I had this dream where we were at the camp and I was with all my friends. And then we seen these holes in the ground, and we went and stomped on them, and a bunch of like rabid skunks that sprayed out like some poison came up out of the ground and started chasing everybody and killed like half of the people, and then the other half was in the church or in the chapel or whatever, like surviving a zombie apocalypse.
From these skunks that freaking just like burrowed out of the ground? Dang, man. I probably did that like really freak you out. When you woke up, you were probably like, "Oh, damn!" Like,
yeah, when I was little, and I don't know wherever the dream took my brain, it freaked me out. But yeah,
yeah, yeah.
What was yours?
So like one, I guess on some level, I'm like claustrophobic, or I have some kind of fear of like getting like closed in or like shut in or something, because I have like recurring dreams about like having to, given whatever circumstances, like crawl through a very small space, or like it's getting smaller as I'm going through. Mm-hmm. And so I can remember this one particular one. It was I want to say it was honestly like me, you, and Tyler. This was like in the past month or so. Like we found some place that we wanted to check out, but there was just like this like hole in the ground that we had to like crawl through to get down there, you know? But like the hole, it was like a tunnel, but going down. And as you went, it just, kept getting smaller and smaller. And like, as I'm going down, like I just look around and there's just like spiders all around, and just another thing I just cannot deal with right now is like spider. I don't know, they just freak me out. I wouldn't say it's like a phobia, but it's enough to freak me out in there.
Yeah.
I'm just like I eventually just like get stuck in there, like, and I finally find a way to like get my body through, and then like it's like it skips ahead to the part where like I have to get out because like something's chasing me, and like I can't get back through, like to get out, and then I like wake up and I'm like, oh damn, like what is going on? So like I never realized that I had any phobias like this, but apparently that's one. It must bother me because I have like recurring dreams about it. Trying to think of another one. Another like recurring dream I have. This one really bothered me for a long time. I should have talked about this one first. I don't know if I told Tyler before. I think I shared with my friend Zach, my bestie Zach. I'll be in my room, but it's not like my room, but it's like a bedroom that's supposed to be mine. And all of a sudden, I'll just get like this dreadful feeling, like I'm not supposed to be in there, or there's something in there that's not supposed to be in there, like just like this like sinister feeling. Yeah. And there's like something I can't see, but I know it's in the room, and like I know I have to get out. And maybe even there's like maybe like a shadow in the corner starts to materialize or something, like some kind of form. But I just like haul ass out of the room, and usually like I go downstairs and like my friends are all down there, like, you know, just like waiting, and I'm like, guys, there's something upstairs, and everybody's like, what? Like, you're crazy, like, you know, you've been drinking. But yeah, like I don't know where that kind of comes from. Like, I've had it in so many different environments. Like, I've had it in, like, made up houses of all kinds that are supposedly my house. Or even, I remember one, like, in my grandma's house, like, just, like, being in the hallway, and her room was always at the end of this hallway. Mm-hmm. But it's like the whole half of the house where her room is dark, and everybody else is in the living room. And I'm, like, down near her bedroom, and I'm, like, looking into her room, and I just, like, see something I don't like, but I don't actually see anything. It's always, like, just, like, a innate feeling or, like, a implied feeling, and I just, like, get the hell out. So I have no idea what that means.
I wonder, I'm no dream expert or analyst or anything like that, but I wonder, maybe sometime if you were little, you were going down the hallway looking in the room and something scared you and you didn't get to see what was in the room, and your brain always wondered what was in that room, so it plays that memory over, if that makes sense.
That makes total sense, and it's actually kind of eerie that you say that. It's kind of like, that would make total sense. Like, it's like a memory that I can't place at a specific timeline of my life, right? But it just something scared the shit out of me one time when I was little. Like, maybe it was like a cat in the room or like something weird.
Because little kids could happen. I mean, maybe it's not, this is not even what happened, but kids get curious. You might have one time when you were a little kid went and were looking in something you weren't necessarily supposed to be looking in, and you already had like some sort of anxiety running through you, and then something scared you and you're like, oh, maybe I'm not supposed to be doing that.
Right.
And then that, maybe that feeling or fear has kept in you, and it replays every so often.
Right. That's freaky, but it totally like fits that puzzle, right? Like, and like my brain never made sense of it. So on some subconscious level, it's still trying to filter through all those memories and things.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, dreams, right? They're kind of like, they're always made from, well, the faces in dreams are always faces you've seen.
I've been thinking about dreams lately, and I think I've wondered, how there's like thousands of, or millions and trillions of planets in space.
Oh yeah.
What if when you dream, you go to your planet in space, and that's where your dreams are, and then you come back to this reality when you wake up?
Hey man, that's a trippy theory though. Yeah. I mean, like you mean like your mind wanders off to like a faraway place like that, or like something?
You go into a different reality. What if like we think of it as sleeping, but when we go, we're in actually a total different reality where we live a different life when we're sleeping. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, there's two different sides.
Yeah, I mean, well, like, there's a lot of things we don't know that science is still kind of probing at, right? Like, there's like different things out there, and I think that, physicists have even kind of touched upon like alternate dimensions, alternate realities, and, different things like that, even being a potential, right? So like maybe it's, something bleeding through, or maybe we're bleeding through into another place, or, something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's really interesting stuff. I can't wait to see kind of what science, kind of leads us towards, because there's got to be something to, there's definitely a mystery around dreams, and, there's going to be some connectedness there. Yeah. Yeah, man. And or even like ghosts, who even knows what that stuff is, right? Like,
I was thinking the other day, what if, so nobody in our period of time right now really knows what the meaning of life is, or if there's even a meaning of life, right?
Right.
What if this is a different a level? So like back in, I don't know what time period you call it, back when the pyramids were made, people think the pyramids were soul shafts. When people die, their soul goes up into space or whatever. what if like the same thing applied, instead of like they were thinking when we die our soul goes somewhere else. So what if our soul does go somewhere else and it's just another level? Like what if you know how people struggle with like temptation, addiction and all that?
Sure.
What if it's all a test, an actual, not a religious test for some god? What if it's a test that if you beat it, you go on to the next level? What if there's galaxies filled with different planets? What if we go on to another planet, another level?
Well, man, I mean, you know, like they say, yeah.
Life like that. I mean, you never know.
Right. Well, like they, you know, the conservation energy, the law of the conservation energy, you know, it can't be destroyed, right? It can only be like changed or transmitted.
That's something, you know? I've thought about too. Yeah. What is it? Matter can't be created or destroyed. It's everything that's here has always been here and will be here. Mm-hmm. Like we did. What is this? I don't even know.
Polyester,
this
nylon.
This metal right here came out of the ground. We did not create the metal. We formed it and put it into the shape, but we did not create the particles for the metal. Everything that's in this earth can be manipulated, but it cannot be created or destroyed. Yeah, it'll come back or be formed in a different way.
Right.
Like even when you burn wood, it's not being destroyed. It's being made into gases that get let out in the air. Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's fascinating. So yeah, it's totally true.
It's really hard to think that we're living here for literally no reason, for what the greed of people like.
We just exist to make money and die and just consume. All right, to buy Doritos and eat them and
the sex organs of the machine world.
Yeah. What do you mean, sex organs of the machine? Oh, you mean like that's all we are? Just to make more people to just make more machines. Yeah. I know, right. It can't. It has to be more than just something like as empty as that, right?
Yeah. I don't believe that we were created by, whether you believe it or not. There's something that created whatever we're in, the floating rock or whatever. But the energy that's within us, it can probably be proven somehow, but the energy that's within us cannot be created or destroyed.
Right.
I guess that doesn't make sense, because it can be created but not destroyed.
It's like,
I don't know.
It's like transmitted, right? It's just it's not like when we die, all the energy goes away. It just
no, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's
that would just
somewhere.
be pointless.
Right.
And I don't think that. Yeah.
Yeah, totally, man. There's way more than we know, and that's what part of me always wanted to study physics, because there's so much truth in that. You know, like that's like the smallest of the sciences, so to speak, or I guess it talks about the action of the smallest type of science.
So my senior year in high school, my first day of school, I got my schedule and it said physics. I was like, what the fuck? The highest science I have is biology. I was like, I went in it for a day and I was confused. I'm like, am I supposed to be in this class? Because physics is a lot of equations and figuring out what will happen if something happens.
Right.
The highest math I had, the highest math that I've taken is Algebra 1. So, I didn't even know how to do the equations of physics.
Oh, word, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, some of that is calculus-based, some of it. But yeah, there's so many, we get on these subjects and they kind of make you uncomfortable. They're kind of, intriguing, provocative, like dreams, life after death, spirits, and other things like that. Sometimes in my brain they kind of seem like they can be connected in some ways, sometimes not. Or I think, science, if there's ever going to be a way, science, is the way to go. But you're right, I don't know if science will ever get there, or not. But it's still kind of interesting to talk about.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah. Like, Hemi-Sync is just like a a way to kind of unlock a different sort of...
different experience, a different point of view, I would say. It would be awesome to be able to control it, being able to master that part of your brain.
Yeah.
And it synchronizes. Then being able to go into that state of mind, and then I don't know what happens in that. I don't know if it's like the world that's in your head, and then you get to explore and do whatever you want, or I don't know.
Yeah, they kind of talk to you about like it's a way to kind of like help yourself feel more in tune and also have like an influence on others. I don't know if it's almost like has to do with like the law of attraction. I don't know if they're kind of getting into that sort of thing too.
Could, yeah.
But I know that's something we're looking to discuss in the future.
Oh yeah.
But that's it's definitely something to try, and I know you're going to continue to do it, and I'll continue to do it. Maybe we can touch on this again at some point in time, because I'm kind of interested to see where it's going to go, because I've only done the first 2, you've done the first 4, and there's like 11 or 12 or something.
Yep, there's a few of them, yeah.
All right, yeah, man. So we'll have to check them out and get back to each other on that.
Oh, yeah.
If anyone has... some feedback, if they've ever done Hemi-Sync or a guided meditation of any kind, kind of comment on that. Maybe throw some comments in about what they think about dreams, maybe some recurring dreams that they've had, like you and I.
Yeah, let us know what kind of weird shit has happened to you while you're sleeping.
Right, because sleep is always, it's so subjective, and so many weird things happen to different people, right? So like we want to hear all those awesome things, and we want to hear about, just anything interesting on any of the subjects that we've kind of discussed today. Just kind of shout it out.
Yeah.